Hello and welcome back. This is episode 3 of our new entrance series here on the channel, and today we are working on desert core. I threw on my most yeehaw outfit that I could come up with, and then I started laying sand and continued to lay sand until I never want to use the sand path ever again. I can't imagine doing a theme or doing this theme for an entire island and thinking about all of the sand path that you would have to lay. Oh my goodness. More power to the people who have that much patience and commitment to a theme, because just doing the entrance was enough sand for me. But anyway, after that, I started working on creating a little cliff feature in the entrance area. I really wanted there to be like kind of a little mountain or something in the background. I was thinking about using the cactuses and the termite mounds to just make it look like it was a big sandy hill right when you enter from the airport. So I'm playing around with the size that I want it to be, and then I'm running back to the airport to look at how it's going to look from that particular viewpoint. I love to go back and forth and just double check, because I kind of want it to look like it's in the distance, but I still want it to be visible from that camera angle. So you'll see me quite a few times running back over here just to kind of check on the dimensions. And I also wanted to make it 3 different levels high to make it look extra tall and extra mountainous. So I'm playing around with how big I make the terraforming as well, to make sure that I can fit the levels on top and actually have like rounded corners. And I did cut a little bit of my trial and error out just so that this video isn't a million hours long for you guys, but I did have to kind of like, I don't know, just play around quite a bit with the size, and it gave me a little bit of trouble. I'm not the best at terraforming just naturally. I feel like some people are just absolutely incredible at terraforming in this game, and I am really just not one of them. So I did cut out a lot of my struggles, so you can see here that it is not quite big enough. So I had to jump down, add a few more tiles to the bottom, and then jump back up and create a more rounded looking space. So that is what I am doing here. And then I'm gonna have to do that one more time to accommodate the final layer. And I swear I didn't realize that you can't put decor on the 3rd level of terraforming. I don't know if I just don't know how to count anymore, or if you never could do this. I remember there was like a 4th level glitch at one point in the game where you could glitch yourself up to the 4th level and decorate up there, but I always thought you could decorate in the 3rd level, so maybe I'm just going a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now, but that really messed with me. And then one of my villagers was trying to get my attention, so I had to hop down here and see what was up, and it was just Tex wanting to teach me a new reaction. I think he's actually so cute. I've never had a penguin villager on my island before, and he really feels like he would be perfect for like a college themed island. Like, he just looks like a little sorority guy. I don't know. He's very cute though. And then I started by putting a few more little tiny, I don't know, squares of sand pathing down just along the edge. Obviously, you can't make it look like even or anything, like you're gonna have the gaps of the grass in between, and I wasn't really sure if that was going to work out in the end, but it actually does end up looking really nice. Like, you can kind of stagger where the items are, and it kind of covers up the grass like just enough to kind of like make the illusion work. You guys will see in the end, but I definitely think adding these little squares is worth it in the end. And then I go to add the final layer, and I realize that I'm not going to be able to round things out, so then I had to climb all the way back down and add even more spaces, and yeah, it was a whole big pain in the butt. Honestly, this was probably one of the most difficult parts of this entire entrance, which is kind of unbelievable, because in the reality of things, it's really not that hard. But I ended up with just this little round area in the center, which we obviously can't put items on, but look how cool it looks. And we have Derwin walking through with his little lollipop, which is so cute. We have the most random villagers on this island. I just haven't really been paying attention to it because I'm focusing so much on this entrance series, and I know that like everything that we do isn't really going to be permanent anyway, so I'm just kind of letting them like move on and move off as they ask to, I guess. and we're just randomly seeing who we have, but Derwin seems to come around the entrance like almost every time I'm building, and it's super funny. I loved the way that he looked in the Kid Core entrance. He would be absolutely perfect on a Kid Core island. But you can see how I'm kind of staggering the cactuses and the termite mounds so that they kind of cover up those areas where the pathing can't be laid down, and I really do think that it kind of masks the sand super, super well. I'm also in September right now in the game, so the grass is a little bit less green than it normally is. Somebody on stream suggested that I time travel to the fall, and I think that would be a really neat idea if you want the grass to be even less green. I didn't do that though because I do kind of like how it peeks through, and I like how the trees, I ended up using a couple hardwood trees in this build, and I like that the trees are still green because it keeps things from looking just like a little too monotone. But this is what we ended up with, and I think it looks really freaking cool, and it honestly wasn't too hard. Like, as soon as I got the terraforming down, obviously it's super easy to just lay down the termite mound, so I was really happy with the end result. And then I started working on laying down this road code. I will never stop complaining about the fact that you have to make your road super wide in order to make it symmetrical with the entrance. It upsets me so much, you guys. I can't even convey to you how much it bothers me, but there's nothing that you can really do about it. I really wanted my road to be 3 tiles wide, so I just kind of had to get over it and stagger the road just a tiny little bit once you get off the bridge. Once all the items and stuff are laid down, I don't think it's too noticeable, but I don't know. It just really drives me absolutely bonkers. But this particular road code is so freaking perfect for this theme. I think it's so cute. It's just the perfect kind of like asphalty light color that looks so incredible with the sand, and it was honestly very easy to use. Like, I struggled a lot with the city core path, but this one was very, very easy to place. So all of the codes that I'll be using this build are going to be in the description box, not in my Pinterest like they usually are. So if you're looking to use any of these on your own island, look in the description box of this video for all of those codes. I did get some inspiration from a couple of different creators whose photos I saw on Pinterest, so I'm going to link their social media down below as well so that you can look at their builds in case you're looking for inspiration for this theme for yourself. But I wanted there to be a little simple panel building when you enter from the airport, so I'm just going to make a little saloon here, and I'm using the storefronts in the back with these small simple panels in the front and this saloon sign that I found, which I think is so cute. I was thinking initially to use the short simple panels just so that some of the storefront kind of shows behind it, but you'll see in just a second I'm gonna have to switch them out for the regular sizes. And the reason for that is just when I go to place things on the lower level, it actually blocks out the whole bottom part of the small simple panel, so you can't even see the sign. I haven't really decorated a ton with the short simple panels, so I didn't know that was gonna be happening until I just kind of continued with the build. It was a really easy fix though, and not a big deal at all, but I love the way that the wood partition looks in the background. I think it looks really, really cool. It just adds a little bit more dimension. And then I'm just playing around with the size of the build. I wanted there to be kind of like an inset where the doors would be for the building, so I'm trying to leave a little bit of space here in the terraforming, and then I'm just placing down this like kind of country style looking window, which I think adds a little bit more variation to just having storefronts everywhere. And then I'm placing the simple panels that we go with in the end. It is so annoying to place items up on cliffs when you are gonna end up like making a building. I don't know, I just struggle so much with it, and I think it is incredibly annoying. But then I'm putting these wood partitions back, and you can see I'm still struggling so much with picking up the wrong item, and then it goes where I don't want it to go, and it was just a whole thing. But finally in the end I got it, and I think it looks really cool. It does an awesome job of blocking out the bottom part of that simple panel so that it looks more convincing. And yeah, then I'm going to create this like little inset thing that I was talking about. I think it just adds a little bit more dimension than having the building be like a perfect square. So I'm placing 2 more storefronts in this little area here to make the front door. And then I found a standee code that I'm going to be using for the actual door that looks kind of like a barn. I think it looks really cool with this though. Again, all of the codes will be linked in the description box. I don't use the standees very often because I kind of don't like the little holes in the center, but in this case I don't really mind it too much because everything is so brown that it just kind of like blends in really nicely. But then I was trying to think about what to do on the upper level just to add a little bit more sort of interest and dimension. So I'm playing around with making the entrance like even more inset by adding another little layer of cliff here. And then I'm trying to think of items to use up on the cliff. I end up kind of just like running around a little bit. I don't know, gets the creative juices flowing, but I ended up using a wagon here. I was just playing around with random items that I had in my inventory, and honestly, this one ended up looking so freaking cool. I love the way that the flowers look. See that? They just kind of like pop up above the storefront. I think it looks really, really neat. But I ended up filling in that sand path because it does look a little bit funky the way that it peaks around the storefront. It kind of ruins the illusion just a little bit. So I went ahead and filled that in, and then I repeated the exact same process on the other side. My favorite thing to do when doing these types of buildings is to make it as symmetrical as possible because I think it just looks more convincing. Like a lot of builds in real life are very symmetrical, so I just kind of went with that. And then I'm putting these tanks on either side of the build, and I added in a little scorpion. Look how cute he is. I think the tank and the hardwood trees add so much visual interest to the sides. And since it's a desert, I'm trying very hard not to over decorate things. So there's going to be a lot more empty space than what I'm used to. But I think that the addition of the trees and the little tank just makes it look a little bit more full, even though there is going to be quite a lot of empty space. And then I'm using this cracked earth custom code here. This is just going to add a little bit of interest to the build because I think honestly that it adds so much. I'm really, really happy with the way that this code looks on this island. I think it really helped the build to come together in the end, to be honest with you. So highly recommend incorporating some of those like little, I don't know, I heard somebody call them like sprinkle codes, like little codes that you add to the ground. They just add a lot of visual interest. And then I'm adding another manhole cover here, which doesn't exactly make sense since we're in the middle of the desert, but I don't really care. And then of course it wouldn't be a saloon without a ridiculous amount of barrels. So I'm just throwing in a couple of the pirate barrels, regular barrels, and then I'm gonna end up putting like those decorative bottles up, just the things that I think a saloon would have. This honestly went really, really easily. Like this build, I managed to finish in 3 hours. We did it in one stream, and it is extremely rare for me to actually finish a build in one stream. I usually have to like finish it off stream, and it usually takes me between like 5 and 6 hours to do one build. I don't know. Honestly, I think I just take a long time to decorate. I don't know. How long does it take you guys to finish a build? I'm super curious. But yeah, for me to finish this one in one stream and in 3 hours was like lightning fast. And I had so much fun doing it. I feel like I went into that like hyperfixation mode where you're like not even thinking about anything else but decorating, and it just feels so relaxing and so cozy. It's my favorite part of decorating in this game is when you can just kind of vibe. And then I remembered that we had wheat fields, and I think that they are the perfect item for this theme. So I wanted to add those in. And I'm adding in a few more of the cracked earth codes. See how much detail it gives? It just makes the area look more full without having to fill it in with items. And then I wanted to use this little sign. I love to put the signs on the entrance of islands. Like if this were the theme that I was going to be doing for the whole island, that would definitely be my flag at the airport. So I think that's a really fun little idea, and I do it on a lot of my islands. And then I found this little iguana code on Pinterest, and I am so obsessed. I named him Iggy the Iguana. I think he's so freaking cute. And then how cute is Roswell on this island? He really suits this theme. He feels like a little cowboy to me, even though he's wearing his Hawaiian shirt. That's totally fine. And then I'm incorporating this little tarantula model, which I think flows so well on this island. If I were doing this theme for real, I would have put so many bugs everywhere, and I love them. I think they're so fun. I don't know. I think honestly, I might actually do an island in this theme. I know in the beginning of the video I said that the sand path was like the worst and I can't imagine doing it, but I honestly haven't had so much fun decorating in a really long time, and it didn't feel very intimidating to do at all. I was just checking the camera angle there, and then if you can believe it, we're already pretty close to the end of this build. As we go to resident services, I just wanted to connect the area by adding one more like kind of smaller kind of mountain area. These are so easy to build and they add so much visual interest. Like once I did that first one, I feel like I was just on a roll. So I just created a couple layers where all of the sides are rounded off. Then I put the sand path down and like laid the termite mounds and the cactuses everywhere. It was so easy. I think I like this one a bit more than the main one at the entrance because I love the way the termite mounds look on the second level. I think that looks really cool. But yeah, I definitely think one of the hardest parts of this would be just getting all of the items, and I highly recommend using treasure islands for that. If you are newer to the game or you're struggling to get items to decorate, highly recommend. There's a lot of free treasure islands on Twitch that you can use. But that is going to bring us to the end of the build. Here are the final little views that we have going on here. I absolutely love how this one turned out and I had so much fun with it. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of this build in the comments below and what entrance themes you want to see from me in the future. But thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you very soon in the next one. Bye!